Okay, let's start with that. Imagine being in a prison, but you didn't even realize that you're in. It sounds kind of tricky, but that's a little glance of how people with addiction feels like. They can break through this prison and they didn't even realize how they got in there. And knowing this statement, I want to talk about a national crisis that unfortunately is claiming lives daily, the opioid crisis. I'm Leticia Leba, and as a former nurse, I have seen much better ways to treat pain, ways that won't ended up in so much pain for the relatives or even for the patients, the pain of addiction. Because in the US, for those that don't know, opioids are often the first and not the last option for pain. And as a result of this poor management, we're seeing silent addictions forms, and with that, consequently, thousands of lives are lost. And this crisis is closer than we think because pain is part of every human life. If you haven't never felt pain, tomorrow you might feel the pain. It's inevitable. So this problem did not start overnight because in the 1990s, oxycodone hit the market, and this drug incredibly was heavily promoted as safe because it was a cheaper and efficient way to treat pain, and that's how they advertise it, right? So doctors believe it, and consequently patients trust the doctors. But what we got instead was a wave of addictions because by 2022 more than 81,000 people died from opioids in a single year. We ended up handing out these pills too freely, and we also failed to fund the programs that helps people break free from them because it was hard to put the patient into these prescriptions. People would get addicted and nothing was done to just help them to treat this addiction. And we just realized that this is more than a prescription issue, it's a system issue. Let's bring some facts into this. So the actor Matthew Perry, who brought us like joy to through his TV shows and movies, he was prescribed opioids, and that was after a jet ski accident. He was in so much pain that he had to use that more often than he should, and he ended up having developing an addiction. At his worst, he took 55 pills a day. That's a lot. But he tried to fight it and he fought that for years, but unfortunately the addiction won, and in 2023 he died. Is he was basically a victim of the system that never gave him a chance to survive or to treat himself. As Dr. Kendall would say, opioids should not be our go-to. There are safer options out there, so why are we using them so much? So my plan is called Less Opioids, Less Graves. It is simple and it works because first we need to try other pain treatments before reaching out to opioids. The NSAIDs like ibuprofen, Tylenol, there are nerve blockings, there are massage therapy, there are physical therapy, and second, we must track these prescriptions. Doctors need to follow up with patients to prevent overuse, because you pretty much often the situation is you're prescribed this and that is nothing else that you can do. You just give that to the patient and you don't follow up with them to see how they're doing. And third, we must increase funding for these rehabilitation services and recovery programs. This actress here, her name is Jamie Lee Curtis. She battled 10 years of addiction of Vicodin, and she began like using this because of plastic surgeries, and she won that. And now she advocates for all these people with addiction, and she reinforced body positivity. You don't need to do plastic surgeries, then that will prevent you from exposing yourself to opioids or something like that. So guys, pain is real and it deserves to be treated with compassion, not with a carelessness. So I believe we can change this with better treatments, smarter prescribing, and community awareness. We can save these lives, guys. And like Confucius says, it doesn't matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. The opioid crisis won't end tomorrow, but every step we take today brings us closer to fewer overdoses, fewer funerals, and more healing. Thank you.